This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined for the second time this week, Ben Shalom. We just concluded the weigh-in there. I think everyone weighed in nice and tense. All looking forward to a big night on Saturday night.
I am very, very tense. Very tense face-off. I think Richard's ready. I've never seen him this focused, and I always thought, can he match Chris mentally? Because Chris has proven that his mental game is very, very strong at world level. And sometimes it comes down, if you speak to fighters at the very, very top, it comes down to concentration and mental fortitude over those long rounds. And Richard's going to have to match Chris, but phenomenal fight. And it was a glimmer of to what we're going to see tomorrow night, which is a very, very intense, very, very grueling fight. And yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. The sun's coming out. The Isaac Chamberlain, Jack Messi fight, that narrative, and I thought Isaac seemed a little rattled today, and the back and forth. Even Ezra coming in today looking good, looks in great shape, and obviously put Whittaker on the back foot, which is nice to see actually. So yeah, three great fights to look forward to. Great to see Dan Aziz back and Fran Hennessy opening the show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a carnival atmosphere tomorrow, and yeah, hopefully the weather's all good.
I spoke to Chris yesterday, and he talked about having like a siege mentality going into this fight. He almost was like, you know, he feels like everyone's against him, and you know, being at Selhurst Park, almost a lot of it being in favour of Riakporhe. Do you think that sort of that works in the favour of Chris, almost having that mentality that, you know, it's like everyone against him, you know, he's going to sort of prove everyone wrong?
Don't know. I mean, his last 4 fights have been in Bournemouth, so he's had a huge amount of support. And he's come through there, and I think he talks about that Lawrence Chelli night and how it was amazing to have that, and he could feel the crowd, and that's what got him through. But it's just how you use your energies, and that's what high top sportsmen do. You know, they make every disadvantage an advantage, and that's what he'll be doing. And he's always taken the toughest tests. Like when we signed him, 6 weeks later he's in a war with Isaac Chamberlain, one of the fights of the year. So he'll continue to do that. He's prepared really well. I wish both guys could win. And they both deserve to be here, but I tell you what, anyone that thinks that they can predict this fight has to be wrong, because I know both guys really well. 4 weeks ago I was convinced it was one way, now I'm thinking it's the other. It's so hard to know.
Last question, I suppose, on this fight. There's been a lot of rumours. Dan Riakporhe reported that Opetaia was going to be on that Wembley card. For what you know, has there been any conversations that it could be the winner of tomorrow night?
I know it's a fight that I think Jai wants and Mick Francis wants, so we'll see. Look, the winner on Saturday is going to have loads of options. Usyk talking about the cruiserweight division. All the other champions are going to fancy this fight for obvious reasons. Obviously the draw, but also they'll fancy it. So the winner's going to have huge options, and I think the unification Opetaia is something that both guys will be really interested in. So let's see what happens on Saturday.
Obviously, Ben Whittaker is back tomorrow against Ezra Anku. He's very up for it. I see like a bra behind us there. I think that was thrown at him. What are the plans after this for Whittaker? God willing, he gets through tomorrow night. You talked about headlining. When around do you think that could be?
That's got you ready for Zante, hasn't it?
No way, no way.
I can see you should. Lewis has been working out and training for this trip to Zante for about 2 months, and he's ready to go now. He's been asking everyone for tips on how on everything. Asking Savage Dan, who's notorious.
He gave me and Savage Dan. We had a good chat about it, mate. We had a good chat.
So no, but Ben Whittaker is. I just think it's great to see him where he's got someone that's coming at him as much as he's going at them. And Ezra, he was a little quiet at the press conference, but today he came alive, and he looks in great shape. And Ben hasn't had that before, but I think he's going to put on a huge performance. I know a lot is being planned. He's got an orchestra that's going to be playing him out. It's going to be a hell of a spectacle. And he's going to have someone trying to take his head off, which is great. So I'm happy to see him in this sort of fight, and then he'll be headlining in Wolverhampton. And yeah, what a year he has had. You know, when we started at the start of the year, it's been very frustrating. and he's fought that many times now. His activity and his following's through the roof, and this will top it off. And then, as I say, I think he becomes a headliner after that.
Have to talk about one stadium fight to another stadium fight. Oakwell is the location for Callum Simpson against Zach Chelli. It's almost like you're trying to complete all the Football League stadiums, going to Bournemouth, going to Palace, now Oakwell. So looking forward to Saturday the 3rd of August.
I am. I think football is such an important way of building a fighter. When the football fans get behind them and the tribal nature of it, that's how you sell out stadiums. You've seen it with Lee Wood, you've seen it with Chris Billam-Smith. It's powerful, and people like to get behind their own in this country. Obviously Richard gets his dream at Selhurst, but Callum Simpson, the fan base that he's got in Yorkshire is special, and you have to recognise that, and you want to develop that, and you want to build on that. And for Oakwell to be so behind him and the stadium to be so behind him, you got to take those opportunities and grab them with both hands. So I want to invest in fighters. I want to create new stars in the sport. Ben's going to be in Wolverhampton. We've seen it with Lauren Price in Cardiff. Fanatical support, local support, and that can grow and grow and grow. And so for me, Callum's going to be selling out stadiums. However, we've been with Zach Chelli a long time. It's a very, very difficult fight. It's a 50-50 fight, and for me, may the best man win, because Zach has fought his best to get to that top. We managed to get him the British title opportunity off the back of the Mark Jeffers defeat, but this fight doesn't headline anywhere else other than Barnsley, let's be honest. And so I think for both guys, it's a huge opportunity.
Definitely. Final one from myself. I know we briefly touched on it on Wednesday, but I did want to more ask you, because more has come out about this potential boxing league that the Saudis and His Excellency is looking at. From a promoter's point of view, you've been involved in boxing particularly a long time. Obviously you're young on the game, but you have still been involved in a long time. Do you think that it is practical and it can work almost like a universal boxing league, I guess, almost diminishing all the belts and everything like that? Like the UFC model, is that a possible thing in boxing, do you think, you see?
I don't know. I mean, obviously they have deep pockets, and what they've achieved so far, some of the things they've achieved so far you would say were impossible. So you can't bet against someone like that, and it would be fantastic. But boxing's also creates local stars, creates stars that then go on to become stars. And you think of the stars coming through, and that will always have to exist. Boxing's a massive sport. You've got 19,000, I believe, active professional boxers in the world. Who's to say who's better than who? It's very subjective. You look at the way the Gervonta Davises have been built, and even the Floyd Mayweathers, superstars of the sport that have been built in a certain way and with the right fights. How does that exist alongside it? Maybe it's the end of that, and maybe that's great. So I think they've done amazing things for the sport, and they obviously show their intention, and money coming into the sport in the way it is always good. Always good. There's a time where people don't care about boxing. There's a time where broadcasters don't want to show boxing. At the moment we have 3 broadcasters in this country showing a lot of boxing, which is you only have to think back 10 years ago and there was probably 1 at certain points. So I think it's in a really healthy space. Who knows what the future holds? The main thing is people are interested in the sport, people are watching the sport, and new stars are being created all the time.
Absolutely. Ben, as always, thank you for taking time to speak to me. I'm sorry I won't be there tomorrow, I do apologise, but there's bigger things on the agenda. I do appreciate it though, mate, and yeah, all the best for tomorrow, mate. Top man, thank you, mate. Cheers.